This is the new 30 horsepower multi-fuel engine from Evinrude. What we want to show you is the different features, but really what are the benefits to the operator. This is new technology. I want to show why I think that this engine is much better, and I'm ready to take this to combat now. It is ready, it's good to go. You see right here, this is the fuel switch. When you see the majority of the red right there, red, you're dead. That is the more flammable gas. When it's pushed in, that's when it burns on one of the kerosene-based jet fuels. What I want to point out now is benefit to the operator is the color. First of all, this basically is a flat black matte and it's not shiny. It was actually harder to do than you might think, but we went out of our way to cut down the reflectivity on the motor. If you take a look here, this is another unique military feature. We make this thing to immerse it to 3 feet. Essentially, we made it so that it's on the back of the combat rubber raiding craft. When the boat gets broached, and you know that does happen, when it gets broached like that depth right there, the engine is fine. When you rewrite the boat and have this on the transom now, there are instructions up here on the front of the cover, basically tells you how to de-water it. These are the dewatering valves. When you rewrite the boat, here's where you want to open up the valves right here. We've always had, with this end of 55, a Delrin valve. Of course, that's not going to rust, but we had some carbon steel parts. So what we've done is we've now used nickel plate, and we will eventually evolve into a stainless handle right here, and that right there is now all metal that will not rust, so that you can be sure you'll be able to de-water, then after you get the engine started, you'll be able to close it just like that. Another great feature of this 30 that we brought back from the old 30 is the shallow water tilt. When you tilt it up like this, you of course know the regular tilt switch that you use. But once it's in an up position, if you take the pressure off of it and you then bring that back up again, you then can strike it right there. So now, this is the new down position, makes it a lot more shallow. The other thing that's great about that is now in this position, this is what we used to train to as we were getting ready to strike the beach. In the middle of the night, you can't exactly tell when you're going to get in such shallow water you're going to hit the skeg of the engine. So when you have it here, it's going to be a better angle of incidence, and when you strike the beach, it's going to now pop up and it's not going to break anything on the motor. What we've done is, in here is a garden hose fitting, so that if you don't have the muffs for the lower intake, which is probably the best way to do it, as plan B, you can just screw your garden hose in right here. You'll see, just like on our bigger engines, on this particular engine, you can buy the optional fitting so your garden hose can go on there. It increases the pressure and limits the pressure on how to de-water the engine. But one of the things we did to militarize this is on the cover. This cover is actually a different material, and it is more flexible, less likely to crack. I talked about this material being more durable. The way it's more durable is actually more flexible. It's less brittle. But this material moves around, is very, very flexible, and still does the job. While I have the hood up here, I want to show you that they went out of their way to duct the air intake, so they're moving the air around through this so that this engine is incredibly quiet. You can see that it's very durable. The standard by which we developed it was to choose the right material so that if a mechanic was working on it and he dropped it from waist high, it wouldn't shatter.